Boxcar, midnight train, destination Bangor, Maine. Hey, first things first, I Papa, freak all the honeys. I gotta stop with these corny jokes at the beginning. Hey, welcome to this episode. I have a special announcement. This is my 100th day of making a video in a row. So I started September 19th, October 28th is when I started doing one video a day every day. And I know that I shortened it because I wanted to get to, I wanted to just make 100 videos. So I kind of fudged it a bit. And I explained it all to you, but I wanted to transition to me doing stand-up and showing you instead of just telling you. And then I still wanted to do what I said I would do, which is honor my word and make 100 videos in 100 consecutive days. And I did multiple videos some days. So yeah, over 100 videos in 100 days. And while that may not seem like a lot, it is to me. And think about what you can do for your career if you took that approach. I think back to, man, what if when I was in Los Angeles, I was doing something consistent like that? I was on the writing side, but not with stand-up. I wasn't writing every day. I wasn't doing new material at every open mic. So if I started out thinking I need to do a video every day, I wouldn't have done it. But you just start and then you keep doing it and you make that red X or give yourself a red check mark on your calendar and keep that momentum going. Like Jerry Seinfeld said, it adds up. It's really quite amazing. My cough hasn't gone away. I recorded this twice already. And for some reason I was out of breath and I'm coughing. My voice is still gravelly. I don't know, maybe I'll have 100 days in a row of this. So if I cough again, forgive me. Usually I don't like to edit because I have so many other things to do. And I love making these videos, but they take long enough as it is. And I have to get back to comics on their sets and all kinds of things. Excuse me. The coughing was so bad, I edited. The only time I edit now is if Bingo knocks over the tripod. So the topic for this episode is starting a writers group in your local scene. It came up on what I call the mean Discord, the one where they're harsher and they bust your balls a lot. Hey, Bill. There's a guy, Bill, in there who I like very much. I like everybody in there very much. He said, hey, why don't you do a video on this? And then this comic who's down under, his name's Andre. I'm not going to give out his full name because I didn't get the okay from him. He answered the question and said a lot of the things that I would have said. But I want to share it all with you. And I want to credit him because even though I would have said the same stuff and I have some things to add to it, I'm not using his blueprint for the video. I'm speaking extemporaneously. But yeah, he nailed it. And that's what the Discords are really good for, getting advice from fellow comics. It's like riding in the car with the headliner to a road gig. You know? You know what I mean? So you're going to start a writers group. First thing you do, limit the number of people. Limit the number of comics. You don't want to have more than 3 to 5. That's an ideal amount because otherwise it's going to be bedlam. There's too many people clawing for attention and jokes, and you need a bigger place to have it. I recommend having it at somebody's house or apartment, possibly a Starbucks or a bar, but I don't know. That's up to you. You don't want to publicize it either. This is a very important thing. You don't want to because it's going to be limited, there's going to be comics inside of your scene that are like, well, why am I not part of this special clique? Cliques are already bad enough for local scenes. If you're now saying, well, we're in this writers group, we're in this Sharks and Jets type gang, you're going to breed resentment. Nobody wants to be the uncool kid that's not invited to the party. So don't do that to them. You're naturally going to find other comics that you have stuff in common with, whether it's your age or your perspective on comedy or on life. Just keep it quiet. You don't need to brag about every little thing that's going on in your life. Oh, there's sirens here in Schenectady, New York. I wonder what that could be. Any number of things. So limit it, keep it quiet, have it in a private venue, because, if you're at a bar and a comic who's not invited shows up, they're going to be like, well, what's this? And then you're going to create chaos in your local scene. Try not to have jerks in it. You don't want somebody who's going to be dominating the conversation or sabotaging people. I mean, that's unlikely, but the dominating the conversation is. I do that a lot of times. I'm always trying to offer what I think is funny when sometimes I need to sit back and give other people a chance. And then when those attempts fail, then give my suggestions. You also want responsible people. You want to make sure you should do it probably once a week. Because just as I said with these videos, once you get into a regular schedule, you'll start building momentum. You don't have to set the rules every single time you have your session. And you can count on people. So say there's 3 of you and one person's always not showing up. Then it's just 2 of you. And it's not as productive. And sometimes you'll have, sometimes the other person who is really responsible, they have a wedding to go to or whatever, and then it's canceled altogether. So you don't have to kick the person out, but have it big enough that if one person can't make it, it still continues, but also fill it with responsible members. If somebody does become a problem, you have to get them out of the group. I don't like writers groups, by the way, and I'll get into why, but excuse me. But it is helpful. It is helpful for comics, and it builds camaraderie amongst the members. Generally, what you want to do is everybody shows up to the writers group with premises for jokes or bits that they've already written out. And the idea is to punch this stuff up. You don't want to go there empty-handed. So have whatever you decide, okay, we're each going to come here with 5 jokes or 5 ideas for jokes. Have that. Don't wait till the last minute. That's being irresponsible and it's wasting people's time. So one person goes and you go in a rotation. Whoever's premise it is, everybody else, first of all, you have to listen to the person and talk about what the intent of the premise is, what the idea is behind the joke, the logic, what they're going for. And then everybody punches it up. Everybody offers their suggestions for punchlines and tags and rewriting things. One of the things that happens in writing is people will repeat a word too many times in the setup and the punchline. Like somebody did it recently, the word up. I'm going to meet up and get up with these people, and there was up 3 times. You want to try to cut that and put in synonyms because it's clunky when you say it. You hear up too many times or whatever the word is for your bit. But I'm getting distracted. I'm going, see, this is why I'm not good for writers groups. I go off on tangents. So the one person says their premise, everybody chips in, put a time limit on it. You don't want to spend, if it's an hour-long session, you don't want to spend 20 minutes on one person and one joke. So it also puts the pressure on you to come up with something funny very quickly. And it should be easy to do if it's a good enough premise. Usually the problem with jokes is the premise is wrong. If the premise is good and it's logical, then the jokes should just come. I always have an issue with premises, not jokes. So after that person goes, then the next person goes, and the next person goes, and the next person goes. Everybody gets a chance. You don't want to be the person hogging all the time. Whoever's premise it is, they get all the jokes for that premise. Very important. Because you'll go into a writer's group and somebody will say a premise, people start throwing out jokes, and then somebody else will get an idea for a similar premise. I wonder where they got that from. And then one of the jokes they added to the other comic's premise, they go, well, it was kind of my joke and it fits my similar premise. No. You can't do any of that. That's why I recommend recording the sessions and somebody holding on to those recordings, maybe uploading it to YouTube, unlisted or private. And that way in the future, if there's any discrepancies, if there's any challenges of, hey, no, that was my joke. You gave me that joke for my premise at the writer's group. And the other person says, well, no, that wasn't for that. And if there's any confusion, you could just go and play the recording. It helps. I'll tell you why it helps. So, excuse me. The reason why I don't like writers groups for myself personally is I don't like taking jokes from comics. I have pride of authorship, and it doesn't mean that I'm right. It's just the way that I work. I like it to be a singular vision. Once in a while, I'll take a tag on the back end of a joke if it's fully done. But when people offer me jokes, I politely decline because it doesn't work for me. But I would do one-on-one writing groups with people, just me and another comic. And I never had any premises. So I was basically there just to give comics jokes. I don't know why. I don't know why. Maybe it was because of that. I don't like getting material from other people. But I met with this one comic, and she was going through her premises, and there was one about the movie Footloose. And I started laughing because something dawned on me. And the movie wasn't the premise. She had some premise based on the movie. And I said to her, this is after about 45 minutes of just giving her jokes. I said, Footloose is my favorite movie because it's the only film where Christianity is the bad guy or the villain. I forget exactly how it went. And I just thought that was funny as a concept. And she laughed and she said, you should take that. That's different than what I was trying to go with. That's funny. That suits you. That's your joke. I'm like, nah, we're here for you. And she goes, no, I insist. And I reluctantly agreed. I said, all right, that seems fair because I've been helping her with a bunch of material. About a month later, I went to a comedian's party, a house party. And I had just gotten there and a group of comics came in and she was one of the comics. And in front of everybody, she said, Rich, it's so good to see you. I've been meaning to tell you that joke you gave me about Christianity being the villain in that movie, Footloose. It kills. It's doing so well. Thank you. it caught me so off guard. I was like, what I should have done is taken a moment and said, pulled her aside and said, "Hey, you said that that was my joke, but I didn't because I was stunned and I didn't want to embarrass myself or her by saying, 'Wait, everybody, hold on, that is not her joke. You know, we're at a party. There's other comics.'" So I just let it go, but I built up a slight resentment because of it. And she probably just misforgot. Misforgot? Is that the right word? Willie's growling because he doesn't like it. She probably misremembered the situation. She didn't steal it. It's just, this stuff happens. You're out at a cafe, you're throwing jokes around, and I didn't have a video where I could go, "Hey, no, let's play back the tape." So that's why you want some kind of evidence. And you don't want to have to go to the other comics in the group because then that causes drama. Then people feel like they have to take sides. "Well, that was my joke. Don't you remember?" "Well, it's kind of fuzzy for me," because they like the other comic. "So I don't know." And then you get mad at them and you're mad at the original comic. And then there's somebody else who's a loudmouth and they're on your side and they take it on as a crusade. And then there's this whole riff going on. It's not worth it. It's a joke. You can come up with 100 more. That's one of the things I think is really important with that. I don't have too much more to say on this. It's going to be a pretty short video. Oh, it's already 16 minutes. Oh my gosh. I don't know how these get so long. I start talking and talking. But yeah, be fair. Be helpful to each other. Don't hold back. Don't hear a premise and then hold back something and then try to use it for yourself later on. Give as much as you get, if not more. And then people will want to do it with you more. They'll want to help you out. Okay? All right. I think that's it. I hope I feel better soon. If you have a writer's group, let me know in the comments with just a wink because you don't want to publicize it. Remember? I just told you that like 14 minutes ago. Why are you... Oh, now to the personal stuff. It was a rough day today. I just didn't feel good all day. I thought I was over this little cold, and I don't know. I mean, having to do this video for the third time is sapping my strength as well. But I played with Willie and Bingo a lot today. They had fun. I was thinking of some material about them, how they're so different, but they love each other. Like the races. Just kidding. All right, that's it. I'll see you tomorrow. I'm back. One other thing, very important. When one of the comics from your group goes up and performs and kills with a joke that you gave them or a tag that you gave them, don't take credit for it with the other comics. What happens in that writer's group is sacred. Don't go, "Yeah, I gave them that one," because you're undermining them. Okay? Because how would you like it if I'm in your writer's group and you go up and you do the punchline that I gave you and it bombs and I go to somebody, "Yeah, he totally effed that up. He didn't do it as I told him in our writer's group." What? What do you mean, what writers group? Well, there's no writers group. All right, so yeah, keep it private. I've talked about helping some comics, but it's one-on-one. It's not part of some secret society. It's not part of the Illuminati. Okay, that's it.